Hey folks, and welcome back to the Inside the Mix podcast. If you are a new listener, thank you for joining and welcome, and do please hit subscribe. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. And before we get started, I just want to say or give a shout out to the two new podcast subscribers of Acacia, Carr and Emma. Thank you for supporting the podcast and all its content. So today's episode is another episode of the Producers Pub, and it's this format is going to continue the format that we started last time, albeit we're going to do slightly shorter snippets of tracks this time because it proved very, very popular. This episode is going to be, it is live now on YouTube, Facebook and Twitch. How successful it will be on Twitch, I don't know, because I literally set it up 15 minutes ago. So we'll see what happens there. And nobody knows it's on there, so you will for next time. So today, joining me, I've got five producers. I've got Sub Neon, I've got Ventura, I've got Liam Leon, I've got Kamen Noodles, and I've got Russell Nash. So we've got some old hats and we've got some new bees as well. How are we, gents? And happy Easter. It is Easter Sunday today.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, I'm all right.
happy Easter.
Fantastic. Lovely stuff. What a better way to spend an Easter, Easter Sunday. I say that. I don't know if that's true or not. We'll see by the end of the episode. So in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to play a song or a snippet, 30 to 60 seconds of a track, and then we're just going to offer feedback on it, what we think, and maybe some advice or critique, etc. And sorry, just looking at the chat there. And what we're going to do is we're going to start first with Liam. Liam, so your track, can you just give us a bit of background on the song itself before we play it?
Yeah, sure. So it's completely unreleased. This is like brand new, and it isn't actually finished yet. I've still got like quite a lot of work to do on it, and it's going to be. I'm sort of working on like a new album, very slowly but surely, and it's going to be on that. And it's the genre maybe like very synth pop. I don't know if anyone's heard any of my music before, but I do put the vocals in them as well. And yeah, the reason why I submitted it for people to listen to is I'm having trouble. I know we can get into this like after you've actually listened to it, but there is something that I'm maybe struggling a little bit with the song. So what I've submitted is the chorus, and then like like when you get a chorus and like the after chorus that sort of like trails off before you get to the bridge. So it's sort of that section. And I'm happy with it. Overall, I'm really, really happy with how it's going. I think I'm just struggling. I'm hitting a wall in a certain area, but I can sort of talk about that after you've heard it, really. So yeah, but I hope you like it.
Ace, mate. Brilliant. Okay, so have you got a title for it yet? Was it
Losing My Heart? I think it is, but you'll yeah, that's what it is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, let's give it a go.
Won't let you take it all away. I'm not losing my heart tonight. You're losing this part of my life. So if you wanna let me go, there's just one thing you should know.
Ace, mate, I really like that. I think that sounds great. You can definitely hear the synth pop vibes in that. Really, really cool.
That's so odd having people just listen to it while I'm sat here. That's a really odd experience, but yeah.
It is, isn't it? It is. I found that when I first played music on this last time, and when you watch other people listening to your music, I almost hear it a different way, and I start to immediately. I get quite critical when I see other people listening, when I see other people listening to my music. I'm probably overly critical again. But I think it sounds really good. So the bit you're struggling with then is where you're transitioning from like the end of the chorus into the bridge, or like into the next section. Is that what you're saying?
Kind of. I've kind of got my head around the structure of songs, because that was like a big problem. My intros were way too long, my outros were way too long, and I'm trying to sort of I've like studied a little bit on that. The problem is actually on the producing side. It's like what we call, is it the drop? So when it goes from like a verse into the chorus, and it's meant to sound like, you know, like an oomph, like louder and sort of an impact. So it's kind of like, I feel like in my head it sounds kind of flat as it's going along. Do you know what I mean? There's no ups or downs or anything.
Yeah.
I struggle a lot with cymbals, like adding that sort of crash sound when a chorus comes in. I rarely hear that problem in anyone else's song, but with mine, I really struggle with that wall. I've tried so many different tips. One of them was, when it came to like mastering, reducing the volume of the verses like by 1 dB and then like bringing it up again, just to have it, you don't really hear it, but it kind of makes that change, you know, it makes that little effect. But yeah, I feel like it just sounds like flat, like all along really. So I didn't know, how do people approach that when they structure their music? Do they take that into consideration when going from, you know, a verse, a bridge into a chorus? Do they just sort of, you know, stack things up? Or how do people do it really?
I was kind of thinking, like, sorry, I've just finished listening to it, like it wouldn't load. I was thinking the exact same thing when I was listening through it, that you know, like melodically it's really nice, like all the parts work really well together, and it's, you know, it sounds nice, but it was very much just like kind of all the way through. But I mean, maybe something I would do, like if it was my track, like what I would maybe do for that little post-chorus bit is like just kind of dial it down, maybe just have like the bass, the kick, and like the hi-hat supporting the vocals, like just to kind of take it down a notch, and then see when it goes into the next section, then bring the chords back in and like bring everything else back in. Like that's something I do sometimes to kind of create like ebbs and flows in composition.
Yeah, so like remove elements throughout the song.
Yeah,
and change
just to kind of take it down a little bit, and then just bring those elements back in when it goes into the next section. And then you get like that impact.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. The exact same thing as what Russell said. Then is I remember having this conversation with Tim R9 a while back, and it was a case of sometimes you've got to remove rather than add to add impact. So you have that space. That trick, what you mentioned about mastering, is interesting, because it's something that I've done in the past, whereby you have that verse down at 0.5 of a dB, and then it kicks back in at the chorus. But I think unless you've got that sort of night and day that Russell's described previously, I think that's quite an impactful way of doing it. It's reducing and then adding to it. I don't know if anybody else has got any other ideas.
I don't have much experience with writing music with vocals, but I find that a lot of the ways that I add impact between sections is I use kind of like a noise riser between like rising up to the next section. And sometimes even with my new music, I've been kind of just cutting everything out in the last bar, or not the last bar, but the last pulse of one bar, and then it like really adds impact. But I don't know, I think we have very different styles of music, so it might work better for some versus others.
Yeah, I'm looking for a one-size-fits-all, but so yeah. But,
I think that's the beauty of having different producers, though, from different genres, is that you can steal and magpie ideas from, because I've listened to the Ventura stuff, and it is different to yourself, and also different to mine as well. It's great, but it is different. And I think if you could like magpie those ideas and then put them in your own, I think that's great. And I think that's what I realised off the back of the previous episode when we did this 4 weeks ago. Great song though, mate. I was going to say, this is totally off air, but I'm going to be in the need for another male vocalist at some point. So I'll give you a shout, mate. Keep you busy, because I got some stuff I'm working on. But that's a discussion for another time. Any other comments, Subneon or Kamen Noodles, George?
Yeah. Sorry, go on. After you.
Yeah, no, I think I was going to make the same point as Ventura. Actually, as both Russell and Ventura, that I think, you can maybe add a little bit, like removing some of the, and definitely some risers and fallers always help to give it that bit of oomph. But yeah, great track. I mean, the production on it was great. I switched to my monitors when I've been listening to, when I'm listening to the tracks, and it sounded really, really well produced. So
it's really, really clean.
Amazing.
Cleaner than an unsnatch, as I like to say.
There we go. There's the mature tick on this episode.
No, that's incredibly helpful. Thank you so much, because like I say, I'm used to just stacking as much as I can, really, but I never really consider taking things away to create that bigger impact where I want it to be. So yeah, I'll take that into consideration for sure. And yeah, I just wanted to impact when the chorus hits just even more. I think it's just something that I'm obsessed with at the moment because I feel like I can't do it, but that's really helpful. So thank you.
No, I think you're right, and I think it's something that I toy with as well, because my music's quite similar to yours. It's in that sort of same ballpark, and it's always something I can craft these verses that sound great, but then when the chorus hits, I'm kind of like that. It's kind of I feel let down by the chorus, and it's So this is great ideas and fantastic stuff, gents. So I realised I started with the wrong person, but I made it seamless. So we'll move on now to Kamen Noodles. George, what have we got with your one? Thanks, gents.
Hi everyone. I'm gonna share like a sort of lo-fi beat that I've been working on. I think I made it back in January, and it is the classic case of new gear. I'm wanting to put new gear on everything because I made it. So I basically bought an amp simulator for the guitar that I originally recorded it on. Then I eventually purchased an amp and wanted to put it on all of my pre-existing backlogged songs that I was working on.
Keep you busy.
Classic audio pitfall.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't really think the lead was working. So sort of my tips are sort of maybe how to also similar way. It's sort of the main hook of the song. It sounds a bit. It's just guitar and a light synth at the minute, and I'm sort of thinking of how can I make that sound a bit bigger, if you know what I mean. So that's sort of what I'm looking at.
Fantastic. Okay, let's give this a go. Russell, if you're downloading this is titled "Inside the Mix 30 Seconds,"
and that is the final title.
Yeah,
Give me 2 seconds, I'll get this.
Creatively titled. I'm just going to quickly flick over to YouTube and Facebook. We've got some viewers. No one's saying anything, but
Right, okay,
par for the course. Right, let's do this. Ace, mate. I love that. I love that guitar change you got nice there. What I was thinking is at the end of those 30 seconds, in my head, what I kind of wanted to hear was like some sort of lead. I know you were playing, there was lead guitar there, but like going into like a lead section, if that makes sense. Like a proper, not like shredding solo or anything, but just like a nice melodic lead off the back of that. Out of interest, what guitar DSP were you using before you bought the amp?
So I was using that is the Corey Wong archetype. So they make like a lot of they do a lot of like amp plugins for mostly like metal, so like Pliny, and I'm pretty sure that Nolly Get Good is from Periphery's got one, but they made a clean one based on like a Corey Wong, who's sort of more of a funk guitarist. But it's really good for clean tone. It's like my favourite clean tone amp sim that I've found online. But yeah, I bought this this Victory amp head that has like an XLR output that you can plug directly into your interface, and it has like a built-in cab simulator in it, so you can,
nice.
Just forever. You know, you're a guitarist yourself. The hunt for the perfect tone is endless.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it's interesting you mentioned the Pliny. It's the Neural DSP, isn't it? Because I downloaded the free trial for the Pliny one today, and I was noodling around with it, and I had the Nolly one before that. The Nolly one's really good. It's got some really good metal rhythm tones on it. Yeah, no worries, mate. Metal rhythm tones and lead. But what was it? It was Corey. What was the name of the clean
Corey Wong.
Corey Wong.
Yeah,
I need some really good clean tones.
Yeah, check it out. It does like a crunch as well, really well as well. It's anything from like sort of clean to light gain. It does really, really well. I think it has like 3 amps, a Dumble, a Fender, and then another, I think, a jazz chorus that it emulates. I'm not 100% on the, but yeah.
Nice, mate. I've been playing around with the Sisters of Mercy cover today, so I'm working my way through that. We'll see how that goes. But no, I really like that, mate. I really like that lo-fi and that guitar as well. Really, really nice. That was my initial thought. I was expecting it to go off in a lead sort of section after that. But yeah, open up to the forum. What do we think, guys?
Yeah.
So
The first thing I think is that you need to speak to our mutual friend Johnny Adams, because I think you two guys would make some beautiful music together. Because he makes like some of those kind of lo-fi beats with like the clean guitar, like kind of leads on them. But,
absolutely.
I liked it.
Oh, thank you.
I
Yeah,
really
no,
liked it as well. But what are you looking to improve? The lead, like
Yeah,
the
just
composition of the lead.
Yeah, just generally either the lead or sort of maybe some sort of rhythmic. Because I think in the demo that I've currently got, what sort of I'm stuck on is I think I loop that bit again before like stripping it back a little bit and then going into a verse. So maybe something maybe like what Marc suggested of like maybe adding a lead or just any sort of like sort of ear candy that you can chuck in to sort of make it a bit just a little bit sweeter and a bit add a bit of variation, and maybe also it sounds to me a little bit quite empty at the minute, so I'm trying to think of some leads or synth pads that I can maybe like layer in to make it bigger, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
That'd be
I mean,
nice.
I could
think,
hear some bells or
Sorry,
something
you go, mate.
after the first loop of the lead. I could hear maybe some glockenspiel bells or something, or I don't know, just some percussive kind of like high end. That's what I kind of had going on in my mind. What could come up next? I've tried writing lo-fi in the past and it hasn't really worked, but so take my stuff with a grain of salt. I like to add lots of layers to my music, but I think some layers could do this song pretty well.
Yeah, thank you. That's a really good. No, I definitely think I'll give that a go because I think like you said, it could just add that little bit of variation subtly, and also layer it up. Because thank you. That's a really good one.
It's interesting, isn't it? With
sorry, Marc. There you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm not familiar. I've listened to lo-fi, but I'm not familiar how it's written, so I wouldn't know how you would layer lo-fi. So it's quite interesting to see what people would think. What you would add is like I like the idea of the bells and the percussive elements.
Yeah, I think
you could quite easily get busy. I think with lo-fi, couldn't it, if you had too much? So the bells sound good.
Yeah, and you've always sort of like, you have to finely balance sort of being too repetitive and being mundane, but not sticking out, because obviously the listener sort of wants it for more of a chill, like while you do, it's not grabbing your attention as much as maybe other kinds of music. So it is a real like fine line between making it not stick out too much, but making it stick out just enough that it's like, oh, that's nice. So no.
Something I thought would be nice is see if you do like a kind of subtle kind of like question and answer, like with the guitar, even maybe not even not even in like a really obvious way, but like if the guitar plays like a kind of question melody, and then there's a kind of like almost like a kind of echoey like reply in the background, that I was kind of hearing that in my head. I thought that might be quite nice.
That's a really good one, I think. Yeah, like especially because you've got that sort of low end guitar, or sort of sitting quite in the mid range, that sort of dun 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 dun. I think you could definitely add another layer and have that be like a call and response sort of. No, that's a really good one. I like that.
I had two suggestions, which I think might work well with it. I've listened to a fair bit of lo-fi before. And I know one of them's kind of like a bit of a cheat, really, but the other one, I'll say that, is a high-pitched piano melody in the background. They work really well, piano and guitars, because it's really sounds really acoustic, like real instruments. So adding a piano would blend really well with it. So that you could try that, and then you can mix up. You can create like a really interesting melody with pianos, because it doesn't overtake the whole thing. It's just like a little pluck of a piano, like high. And the other one was you can add rain effect. But the reason I say that is because adding a rain effect will allow you to add more percussions, but they'd blend better. They wouldn't stand out as much, because I know it's meant to be, lo-fi, so, but if you added like a rain effect or something, you could mess around with more percussions and it'd blend better, because they'd match it. So, but yeah, but maybe try the piano one as well. I think that sounds pretty good.
No, absolutely. That sounds again. That's another one. I think that could also be like with the sort of glockenspiel recommendation by Ventura. I reckon that could be either the piano or the. I think I'll have to try both and see which, if both or one could. I think that's definitely a cool idea, and maybe even could incorporate that with the call and response idea from Russell. I think that's definitely a cool idea. No, thank you. That's a really good tip.
I think there's great ideas. You could have like a call and response, glockenspiel on piano, like left and right. Just have them call and response, something along those lines. The timbres are similar but different at the same time.
You could even echo like one off of the other. So you could have the guitar, and then you could have the piano respond over here, and then you could have the glockenspiel echo the piano over here.
Oof. Yeah. There we go. There you go. That is a vortex of sound right there. That's like ultimate chill.
I was going to open the floor to be like, has anyone got any recommendations for piano VSTs? But I don't think we've got time.
I'm terrible with mine. I think the only ones I've got, I use the Korg M1. I use that way too much, which is all right for like house and various other bits and pieces. Addictive Keys is quite good, and I know Native Instruments has some really good stuff in the Contact library, but it's been so long since I've gone into
Air
that.
Grand piano, which is really nice. It's like, I think it's like £100, but like if you wait, like you'll get it on sale for like a tenner.
Keep that one in
For
mind.
a tenner, it's definitely worth
I think there's a grand
absolutely.
piano by 88 or something, but they have a good grand piano plug-in.
Who was that by?
I think it's called 88.
88.
I'll
Yeah.
post it in the producer chat later, but there's a really, really nice free one as well by, I think it's Keyzone or something like that. It's like, it's not the absolute nicest one out there, but it's free, and it's, for free is very, very nice.
Oh, it's
Nice.
Sonovox, that's what it is.
There you go. Put them in the chat, gents, because I'd be interested in those as well. I definitely need some more piano VSTs too. Lovely stuff. Excellent. So, moving on to the next one. Thanks, everyone. Thank you, George. We've got Sub Neon. A bit about this track, buddy. What have we got?
Yeah, so this is a continuation of my exploration of synthwave style sounds, and then throwing a bit of nasty bass in at the same time. It's a 90-second clip that I've put together. I've shared a little bit of this on social media, and that's kind of what I do. I kind of build a track up and share a little bit as it advances as I develop it. And I've kind of hit a wall a little bit. The clip has got it's got a bit of a verse, and then it moves into the chorus proper. And I'm not sure where to go next, to be honest. I mean, to be honest, the majority of my tracks have so much variation. There could be like 8 or 9 different tempo changes or what have you, or completely different sections that just jump in because I just get bored of listening to the same thing over and over again. And I don't know whether to keep the same kind of level of energy that this section has got, or whether I should change its dynamic again, So I'd be interested to hear what people think. So
Brilliant. Okay, mate. Let's give it a go. So, Night Runner, is that the work in progress name?
yeah,
or was that
that's right.
Time
Yeah,
Runner?
I should have said that, shouldn't I? Yes, Night Runner.
No worries, man. Here we go.
Awesome.
Oh, it's fading out. Ace, brilliant, mate. My straight away, my thought was around 30 seconds, because you've got that energy. I kind of wanted to hear it just drop out, and then be quite sparse, and then maybe a slower tempo.
Okay.
But certainly like that energy to drop out, and then you can build it back up and come back in again.
Yeah, I was thinking the
That's
same
my
thing.
initial thought. because that's what I thought was going to happen at 30 seconds. I was waiting for a drop. But maybe that's I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you're keeping me on the edge of my seat, so to
See,
speak.
the little section that joins the verse to the chorus, I only wrote probably 18 hours ago, so it's not hard and fast yet. It could completely change. I mean, I quite like the idea of dropping out to almost nothing, but it's about what do you drop out, you know? Because I suffer from the same kind of thing that some of the guys have been talking about. You know, you keep layering stuff in, and you think, I really like that. I want to keep that there, and I want to keep this there. And wouldn't it be great if I added this to complement that sound? And so it feels alien to me to take something out, you know. So, but as Kamen Noodles has just clearly sort of illustrated that the use of silence and space it can be so effective. So I'm really interested. You know, I might give that a go. Definitely.
Yeah. I think what you could do is. Sorry, mate. Is just to give it a go and see what happens. A really quick way of seeing if it will work is just to drop everything out, like leave in the sub bass, and then just have a synth. But get a low pass filter and just roll off that with the low pass filter some of that those top end frequencies, almost creating like a band pass on it, and just see what it sounds like, and then use that as a building block and then build from there. Because I know what you mean. Sometimes it can be like, I've got all this going on. What do I actually want to get rid of to create the space? Sometimes it's not necessarily removing in an instrument per se, but you might just remove frequency content to make it different. That's one thought. Anyway, sorry, Russell, go ahead, mate.
No, I was just going to say, like, what I was hearing in my head was just dropping it down to the vocoder. Like, I think that would sound fucking cool. If there was just like maybe even just like a phrase or just a line with just the vocoder, and then everything else comes back in. I think that would be fucking cool.
There's a vocoder in there?
I don't know. Like,
do you mean like the bass noise on the beginning of the bar?
The thing that sounds like a robot voice to me. Well, to
Oh,
me
really?
anyway,
Right.
like,
Okay. That's 6 layered tracks from a synth called Halo, which is just an insane monster of a synth. So yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah, there is a kind of a vocal element to one of the sounds in there. Okay, yeah, I'll give that a go. That sounds like a good idea.
I think that would sound cool. That's what I was thinking anyway.
Did you say 6 layers, mate?
I've been following Ventura, and you know, bass is the way forward. I have to say, you know. So yeah, there's that little 1.5 second sound that it makes on the bar. There's 6 separate sounds layered together. That noise.
Have you got 6 separate instrument tracks? Or are they like in one?
Yeah.
I appreciate you taking some inspiration, but I don't think I've ever layered 6 basses. But it sounds cool. I like the way it sounds. What I was gonna say was, I mean, first of all, I like how groovy it sounds, and then on top of that, really gross, like growly bass. I think something that I could have heard was if you take out the chords at the 30-second mark, like Marc was saying, you could take out those kind of like I don't know, just the chords, the groovy chords, and then just have the percussive bass going. I think that could be a good, I don't know, segue into a new section too.
Okay, yeah, I like the sound of that.
Because it's a groovy bass line.
Full cyberpunk.
It's maybe. I mean, you have more melody than cyberpunk, so I think it would sound pretty groovy and kind of like I don't know, like Miami cop movie.
Nice. Okay.
Well, that'd be nice. You need to have a chat with Typherian. Typherian's, I think he might be on the next. I know you're on the next one, Matt, said Neil, and I think Typherian is as well. I think you are. I lose track, to be honest.
I just keep clicking the button.
Yeah. As long as someone turns up, and it's not just me playing my own music, chatting about it, that'd be very self-indulgent of me. But yeah, I know your music. You've definitely got that like. It's a really bad way of doing it. Like, sort of growly sound you got going on.
Can I sample that?
I really like the track.
Yeah,
it sounds really good.
Yeah, really, really good stuff, mate. I think I said this last time. I think you're definitely you've got a particular sound, and it's a really, really good sound. Because I know you mentioned synthwave just now, but you've taken synthwave elements and you've sort of created your own interpretation of it, so it's different, you know.
Yeah, it's like
Which is great.
I've always kind of thought the same thing. It's like I think you've got quite a unique way of putting things together, because it doesn't sound like anything else like that I've kind of heard in the scene. It's like you've definitely put your own stamp on it.
I'm blushing a little bit now. Yeah, I mean, it's. I've got pretty strong views about the synthwave scene anyway. You know, that there are so much sort of cut out and keep the sort of tracks that are out there. I think it's high time that there's, you know, a bit of variation that's added into it, and a bit of personality, and that's what I'm trying to do. But I had a question about the melody. I don't know if you guys can remember now, because it's been a few minutes since we've listened to it. I always struggle with delay as well, because I've got a couple of sounds that are going on in the background there in the higher end that I'm not sure whether they're fighting with one another. You know, there's kind of a kind of a main melodic synth, and then there's this delay thing that kind of comes in out in the background. Do you guys have any tips in terms of working with multiple layers of delay to make it work in a more seamless way?
Are you timing your delay? Are you timing it to your
No,
track?
don't be silly. I'm just throwing them in there and seeing what happens.
That would be my first bit of advice. Would be time the delay to the track, and obviously you can tweak it from there. And then look at the feedback as well. The feedback knob's quite powerful when it comes to delay, because that's going to control how much delay feedback you get. So that's another one. Another really good, cool tip as well with delay is this is quite good with vocals. Is that when you have like you have two delays, you might have one hard left, hard right. One's quarter and one's eighth note delays. That's quite a nice way of doing it as well. But definitely start with timing the delay. Look at the timing of it. Trying to think of the best. Most delays you can sync to the track, because you can either have it loose, so you can do it in millisecond, or you can sync the delay to the track. That would be my first. That would be my first bit of advice. I don't know what anyone else thinks.
I was going to agree with you, Mark, on that one. When it comes to what I normally do with the majority of my sounds, is when I add a delay, is it the ping pong effect, so it goes like left, right, left, right as it's delaying. But what that does is it kind of just spreads it out, because if I didn't do that, it'd just remain as stereo, and then as it's playing, it would just stack, and everything would just, like, you know, it'd cause is it phaser? Is that what you call it? When it all stacks.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you can do.
Try widening the delay, and it'll just sort of spread it out a little bit in the surround. But
Nice one,
a couple of things that I do is I don't know what delay you use, but the delay that I use has like EQ options on it. So like I'll maybe like say if I've got like two parts that or maybe have like some kind of crossover frequencies, then I'll maybe like high pass out like some of the delay from like one of them to leave room for the other one. And like another thing that I'll do sometimes is I'll actually sidechain one of the melodies into the other melody, just to kind of like carve out like a little bit of space. I don't know if you've got like a track spacer, but like that thing has been like a godsend for me. If I've maybe got like two melodies, like one that's in a kind of slightly higher register and one that's in a slightly just like a slightly lower register, but there's some kind of crossover frequencies, I'll sidechain the lower one into the higher one. Because like the higher one, obviously, like when you do that, you'll still get like a little bit of the high like coming through, but it leaves more space for the one that's in the kind of mid upper kind of range. But that's something that I do just like to get like a little bit of separation between the two.
I really need to figure out how to use track spacer. It's awesome, but I keep dialing the knobs too far, and then just some weird sounds keep coming out of the effect that I'm working on. But that's really good advice, guys. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Track spacer, I find that it works best if you keep it subtle. Don't dial it in too hard. Like I usually keep it like around kind of 15 to 20%. I think if you go like too hard with it, then like it just sounds fucking weird. But like if you keep it nice and subtle, then I find that it's just enough for it to kind of cut through without sounding too overbearing.
Fantastic. I'm glad you mentioned the compression side of things, Russell, because I was going to say that as well, about compressing or sidechain compression going into the if you're using auxiliary channels for your delay, which I highly recommend doing. Fantastic, gents. Excellent stuff. Love it. So thank you very much, Subneon. So we've now got the penultimate, which is Ventura. There's no title on it. Let's have a bit about this one, buddy.
Yeah, so I am currently writing an album, trying to do something thematic to Dante's Inferno and like the Nine Circles of Hell. I write dark synth, just to preface this. It's not going to be like some chill synth about the Nine Circles of Hell. But this is supposed to be one of the last songs in the album, so it's going to be pretty like aggressive and kind of intense. But right now, this is kind of like the first drop and really crazy section, and I'm just kind of curious about how I should continue with it. Because right now, this is kind of the tail end of the section that I've written, and I'm not really sure what to bring in after.
Cool.
But yeah.
Ace. I did listen to this earlier because I auditioned the tracks to make sure there is audio there, and you haven't just bounced silence, which has happened before. And when I heard it at the end of it as well, being a metalhead, it immediately grabbed
I
me.
thought you would like it.
Yeah. So let's listen to this one. Yes, mate. That ending got me straight away. What I want to hear on that ending is like a really like some pig squeals on guitars or something.
So yeah, actually, that's another thing I was going to bring up. Is that pause at the end? I want to put some like quote or something in. I in the most recent song that I released 2 days ago, I already have like the knife shing, like that whing, and then like a woman screaming. So I don't want to do that again. But if you guys have any suggestions on like something kind of cheeky to add right after that breakdown, please.
Go Hellraiser route or something like that, man. Like a proper Hellraiser quote, something like that. Like
Okay.
Jesus wept straight into the straight into that afterwards, something like that, man. That would be
awesome. That'd fit right into the theme.
yeah. That ending is wicked though. I really like that. But I know what you mean. You kind of want something that a really strong quote to go in there.
Yeah, and then I need to bring it back into
those lines.
synth because I mean, that's just a VST guitar. I can't play guitar, so I don't know how much I can fake, like how long I can fake a guitar, in the song without it sounding kind of goofy. So I want to bring it back
pretty
to
well
synth.
so far. I think that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I think one thing you could maybe try, I don't know if you, because I think you could either go two ways with it, really. You could either go really into the guitar and go, we're going to go half time, slow it down, really brutal breakdown, like really dun, like really like, Mark it's taking me back to my beat down days. Or you could maybe like bring in one of the lead instruments, the sort of arpeggiator lead thing you've got on its own, and then build it back into the synth bit, and then go back into the synth.
I thought the exact same thing. I thought it'd be really cool to bring it down to half time, and then I thought it'd be really cool to bring in like a kind of lead guitar melody with like a really fucking sinister melody, like on lead guitar. I thought that would be really cool.
Actually, earlier in that track, I do have a bit of a sinister guitar melody, but I had to only put in 30 seconds. But these are great ideas. I thank you. I think I'm gonna take that advice for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking if you were to bring solos into it, if you're bringing lead guitar into it, you want some really interesting sort of like modes to use, like Phrygian mode or something along those lines. This is where like if you're not a guitarist, I couldn't even tell you what a Phrygian mode would be. I couldn't remember how to play a Phrygian mode right now, or Mixolydian or something like that. Some really interesting
Mixolydian's kinda
sounding
happy.
mode.
Like, I wouldn't use a Mixolydian.
Is Mixolydian happy?
Yeah, yeah, like Mixolydian.
It is. Yeah. Well,
really
maybe don't go with don't go with Mixolydian then, or stick with Phrygian in that case.
Okay, yeah, I can play with some scale modes. That would be fun, actually.
Yeah.
Or like some like Black Sabbath, like Doom, really long, doom, 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 like diminished. Fifth.
Yeah.
Oh, so many options for the metal side. So many.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Makes me want to go and listen to some metal now.
Yeah.
I've been on a proper metal binge of late as well. Like,
yeah, that was
initially when I first listened to it, because we haven't really touched on the intro, you kind of got those haunting vocal samples in there as well. Quite like Cradle of Filth, Demu Bourgier sort of stuff going on there, which is quite cool.
Yeah.
I think it'd be quite cool. You could almost like develop that a bit more, maybe at some point.
Yeah, that's
maybe,
a good
possibly.
idea. I've definitely been using a lot of choir in this album, and I think, yeah, maybe I could really just go all out and make some crazy choir melody that doesn't even sound realistic. Just
Yeah, that would be cool. That would be cool. You can almost like start the track with that, and then it just goes really. Then you just absolutely just rip into it and tear it up with like loads of processing and stuff, and make it totally obscure and stuff.
yeah, that's a good idea.
And then end it with it again. Go back into the choir.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll play around with all that stuff. Thank you.
Did you say it was? So it's based on Dante's Inferno, the album.
Not the album. Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
album is based on loosely. You know, I just have like every song has to do with the one circle of hell. So that's supposed to be like fraud.
Love that, man. I love that
Cool.
idea.
I was wondering.
Yeah, my plan is to make like a really long epic song for Treachery for the last song, but I don't know. Like I've tried to write really long songs before. It's a pretty tough ordeal. But
I think trying to keep them interesting
Yeah.
for a long amount of time. I remember when I was in the band and we write these songs. I think we had one song which was about 6 or 7 minutes long, and it never played the same riff twice.
yeah,
I mean that was gnarly to play live, and we'd always play it like 20 BPM faster than it should be, and it's really hard to do to keep that listener interest along that for that amount of time. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. But I love the idea though. Dante's Inferno sounds amazing, man. I think as an album that'd be wicked.
thank you. Yeah, I've got a couple songs already released for it. But hoping that it'll be finished soon because, yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, no, I love your work, man. Like fucking your stuff's like kind of top notch.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate that a lot.
Gents, I'm just before we move on, thank you very much for that brilliant stuff. Before we move on to the next one, I'm just on YouTube and someone's put apologies if I pronounce this incorrectly. Kantara, you forgot to empty the dishwasher before the pod, man. Somebody's forgot to empty the
What's
dishwasher.
his name? What's the name of the person who said that?
It's Duncan.
Oh my god, that's my roommate.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Excellent. That's the first time that's ever happened on the podcast. Love it.
That's funny. He's lying too.
Cool.
He's lying.
So so the last one's myself. So this is something that I started a week or so ago, and it is very much a work in progress. So it is just fleshing out ideas at the moment. And I had a friend come in and record bass on this. So the bit I want feedback on most really is there's a bridge section in it, and it's quite like if you're familiar with the band Opeth, it's quite along those sort of lines. It's quite weird, and it comes in out of nowhere. And then it kicks back into what would essentially be an outro thereafter. So any advice on really where to take the outro and also the bridge section as well? Because I was a bit 50-50 whether I wanted it, and then the bassist came in, recorded some bass, and we were like, actually, it sounds okay, it sounds pretty good. So any feedback on that would be amazing. So there is no title for this yet. It's just B flat major 97 BPM, which is amazing. So, my apologies. I just realised I haven't played Russell's yet. All right, we're going to Russell. Russell, let's play your song before we play mine, man. When this goes live, I'll edit that whole bit out. So, Russell, tell us about your song.
This one was just something I was kind of messing about with. I've been kind of messing about with the GeForce Oddity recently, and I don't know, man. Like that synth like seems kind of synonymous with like a lot of kind of sci-fi and kind of space kind of like kind of synth music. So like I was just kind of trying to write something that had like that kind of vibe to it, like yeah, just like kind of spacey synthy vibes. And I it's not really anything kind of like specific that I was looking for feedback on. Just basically just have a listen to it, and basically if you've got any suggestions, then you know I'm all ears.
Fantastic, Ace. Here we go. So this is Russell Nash, working title Isolation. Cool, mate. Ace, my initial thought was when it comes back in right at the end there, because there's like a drop,
Yeah.
and then it comes back into the track, is you've got that lead synth played again. Maybe
Yeah.
like a slight variation on the actual sound itself, like a different timbre of the instrument. That was my initial thought.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Would be quite cool to do. That's what I initially, that's what I went with straight away. Don't know what anyone else thinks.
Yeah, that second lead that came in, not the like Blade Runner-y one that fades in. I like that lead a lot, first of all. But the second lead, I was kind of expecting there to be a second phrase, but it kind of just stopped and then it came on again. So maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know, try adding a little bit, if you think it fits, obviously.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's like it's a work in progress. So I'm definitely kind of open to like suggestions, and like that's probably a good idea to kind of mix the melody up a bit.
It'd be good to include another hit hat as it's going, because all you've got, I think, at the moment is obviously you've got the kick, the snare,
Yeah.
and it just sort of goes like like that, like
Yeah.
behind. You just need one in the middle just to make the it makes it sort of flow a little bit better, like sort of bounce. You know what I mean? I don't know, I'm
Okay.
describing it wrong, but yeah, just like a standard hit hat, just really quiet in the background, and it just sort of like clamps everything together as it's playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like the sound of that lead there as well. I've not been brave enough to use a kind of a semi-detuned lead yet. The thing I was hearing was just where the drum fill brings it back into the melody. I don't know if you like this or not, but it kind of, in a lot of space wave stuff, it kind of drops out completely, and only has like a sousaphone type bass that is the only thing that carries the melody of the lead through. So that was the thing I was hearing. It was just kind of take the energy right out to then bring it back in again.
Okay.
And I think, you know, guys like Helsinki Project do that kind of stuff really, really well and everything. And I think that little bit of variation there, I think would be really impactful.
Yeah, no, like I'm open to that. Like, I mean, truth be told, like that little fill was just kind of thrown in there just for just for the sake of it. But yeah, like maybe that would work quite well. Just taking it out altogether and just having just you know, John Cage in it. You know, just fucking silence and then bam, back in. Yeah.
Fantastic. There's a comment on the YouTube actually from Vic West who says space, sci-fi, and synth are meant to be together. Great vibe. So there we go.
Okay.
Vic knows.
Yeah, Vic. I was chatting to Vic earlier, trying to get him on the podcast at some point. So he did say he was going to drop in for the live stream.
Vic, like fucking your music's fucking dino, by the way.
Fantastic. Agreed. So I was just looking at the comments again. That dishwasher one got me. Ace. Brilliant. There we go. So now we come to the final one. So this is my track. So this is one that I started a couple of weeks ago. It's based on it. It's really rough. There's some guitar at the end. It is actual guitar. The VST I've used, I think, is a Logic stock one because my free trial of the Nolly Neural DSP ran out. So I know. Thumbs down from Kamen Noodles. Yeah, it ran out. So I've got this heinous Logic Pro guitar tone on it, and I think the lead tone's the same, aside from the bass. So any feedback on the bridge section, whether it works, and then going into the outro as well, will be great. So yeah, this is a work in progress. It's called, it says synth pop, but it's not actually synth pop. It's B flat major, 97 BPM.
Okay, got it.
I don't know what you'd call it now. And yeah, the bridge section, it'd be interesting to see what people think, because I'm shaking my hand for the audience listening. I'm shaking my hand with a kind of 50-50 motion.
Okay.
There we go. Sorry, it abruptly cuts off at the end there. So yeah, any thoughts? And interesting is that I want to put vocals on this, and I'm unsure if it's going to be male or female. So it'd be interesting to know what people think with regards to vocals as well, if it needs it.
That was so cool. Sorry. Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah, I know what you mean by Opeth in there. I thought that was really cool how it dropped out with the. I'm gonna do what all great people do, and I'm going to throw your feedback right back at you. I think it'd be really cool if you could add like a lead, like a guitar lead when it kicks back in. It depends on like obviously what you're doing with the vocal melody and whether that leaves the room for it. But I think you could definitely bring more guitar.
Yeah, I think it's going to have lead guitar. I've farmed it out to a guitarist who's hopefully going to get something back to me soon. Fingers crossed. So yeah, it's going to come in with lead at the end there because it's part of an EP, and the EP is going to have a lot of. Well, it's going to have guitar on almost. I think 3 out of 4 tracks now. I think in total. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because I didn't put that out there. So that's good to know. It's good to know that you think lead guitar, fantastic. Thank you,
Mark, for the bridge. Oh, sorry, we're still going.
Sorry, I was just going to say, is anyone else getting Metallica 1 vocals from it? 1 vibes from it, sorry.
I wasn't, but I'm going to have to listen.
The Metallica song 1.
Yeah. You know what? I've been listening to And Justice for All as well for the past week or so. So that might be a part and parcel of it.
You've got to do
I was watching Metallica live in Seattle, 1989. So yeah, could well be there.
Got to get the breakdown at the end in there now. That's a must. Yeah.
Just over. Yeah. That'd be ace.
Yeah, I really
Liam,
like that. I really like that Opeth guitar section. But I agree. I think with what Kamen Noodles said, having a lead there would be nice. I could only think of like a Mellotron lead that like Opeth uses in their new stuff, but I don't know how effective that would be in synth. That's more like 60s prog.
No, I love the idea of a Mellotron. I recorded an album a few years back, and we had a Mellotron at the end of it. We were in the studio with a Mellotron.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
It's a great sounding instrument.
I love that idea. Yeah, it is. God, I could choice Russell Jim Beam. No, I love that idea. I hadn't thought of a mellotron or some sort of like vintage synth sort of sound like that. No, cool. Thank you. I made a note of that.
I was hearing like female vocals for some reason. I mean, I know I'm kind of contradicting myself, like when I said Metallica and then I'm saying female vocals, but yeah, like I don't know, like I think I'm just kind of hearing a kind of like a female vocal on top of that. Like I think it would sound nice.
Cool. No, that's great, mate. I think that's the way I was leaning as well. So that's once again, that's good to know. Yeah, ace.
You should
Ace.
check out Chelsea Rathchild. That's her name. Like she's like a female singer that's kind of actively looking to kind of like work on synthwave tracks. Like she's like a kind of rock metal singer, like by kind of trade, but like she's looking to like kind of break into the kind of synthwave scene. So like I think that would maybe
Really?
be someone you should maybe kind of consider giving a
Yeah,
kind of a shout to.
I'm assuming we're sort of marketing for her now. I'm assuming she's on Instagram. I'll look her up on Instagram.
I'll send you a link to her page later. But like I think I think she would work quite well with the sort of sound you've got going on there.
No, that'd be perfect. Thanks, mate. If you could do that, that'd be ace. Thank you.
Can't you do pig squeals? Asking for my own music.
No.
I've got a friend who can do that quite well. I used to be able to do pig squeals, but not so much anymore.
Yeah.
I've got a friend who can do it.
Same.
He resembles a pig as well. I'm not gonna say who it is. He doesn't listen to the podcast anyway, so it's fine. Slight tangent there. No, that's brilliant. I think George might know who he is. I think George might have met him, possibly. I don't know. But no, thank you, gents. That's amazing. These are great. I love this. It's great getting feedback because there are so many ideas that you can take. Not just listening to the feedback on my own stuff, but the stuff you said about other people's music as well and taking forward into my own productions, which is amazing. And it's so cool having such a variety of different styles on here as well. And no, big thanks for joining me on this Easter bank holiday weekend as well, which is amazing. I'm just going to go over to YouTube. Vic West has been on Chat Binge. He says, I'm old, but I'd really love a chugga chugga before a power chord. I know what he means by that. That's a great way of describing it. Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Vic. Gents, what I'll do now is I'll just go around. Once again, a big thank you. And just articulate where our audience can find you online, where they can find your music and find yourself. And also, if you've got any key dates coming up, any releases or gigs or anything along those lines. So I'm going to snake my way around. So, Sub Neon, where can our audience find you?
So I've recently made my first website. So all of my stuff is now aggregated at subneon.net. So I'm mainly active on Instagram. So yeah, those are the two main places. The key date I've got is my self-imposed release schedule of releasing a track every single month. So by the end of April, I'm hoping to release my 6th track, which is called Dark Light.
Fantastic. I like that deadline. We're going to keep you accountable now as well. Do you realise? We're expecting to see one every month. Ventura, where can we find you online?
Yeah, I'm mostly active on Instagram as well at VenturerSynth, VenturerSynth. And I also have a link tree, which is just the same extension on that. I have a song that came out today or 2 days ago. Please go check that out to anybody listening. Hopefully another song coming out in a month. I'm going to try to follow Sub Neon's schedule of once a month now that I have a couple things lined up, but we'll see if I can follow that as well.
Fantastic. Just for the audience as well, what was the name of the song that was released?
Hostility.
Hostility.
That's
fantastic.
for the Circle of Hell Wrath.
I love it. That's such a cool idea. And then down to Russell Nash.
Oh yeah, like my kind of all my stuff is on Bandcamp. RussellNashMusic.bandcamp.com. That's Russell with 2 L's. You can find the rest of my stuff on linktree.com /Russell Nash Music. The last single that I've released is a collaboration with Ren. It's called Galactic Warfare. You can find that on my Bandcamp.
Lovely. That's great as well, man. Being in a guitar frame of mind at the moment, the lead guitar on that is wicked. It sounds so cool on that track. Kamen Noodles.
Yeah, there we go. Apologies. But you can, if you like the little snippet you heard, you can find me on most, if not all, social media at Kamen Noodles, Kamen and Noodles. And then you can, I've got a new single coming out next week, but not next week when the podcast comes out, next week as of recording. So that should be out by the time this goes out, called Grow, out via Cozy Clouds Music on the 14th of April. So, that'll be out, and check it out on any major music streaming platform under Kamen Noodles. So, yeah.
Fantastic. And Liam?
So you can find me pretty much on any social media platform just under Liam Leon, Spotify, mainly on Instagram to connect. And I've recently joined TikTok. So I'm sort of putting out little covers here and there just for like a little fun side project. So check them out as well.
Brilliant, gents. I will put all that in the episode notes, all those links and whatnot, so the audience can go away and listen to those. And once again, a big thank you for joining me today. And it's been a pleasure. And please do subscribe, or I say subscribe. Please do book yourself onto another one as well when you've got music that you want to share and get a bit of feedback on. Or even if you just want to join and then just criticise other people's music, and then just do that. It's all good fun. But no, once again, a really, really big thanks, and I will catch up with you all soon. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Nice to meet you all.
See you later, man.